Today we're going to learn how to make a treasure box. Treasure box means that it has a top and a bottom that fit together like so, and it is done with some basic origami folds. Eventually you'll get to make some fancier ones and even some smaller ones and some smaller ones and some smaller ones using fancier paper. So let me show you how to get started. We'll just do the basic treasure box to get started. The first thing you'll need are 2 pieces of paper, and they need to start out the same size. Decide which one is going to be the top and which one is going to be the bottom. I'm going to make this one my top. I'm following the instructions on this treasure box instruction sheet that has a front and a back. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to fold the paper so that the corners and edges match up as best I can, and then I crease it firmly. I open it up and I go the other way. Again, make sure the corners and edges are matched up as precisely as possible. I usually start in the middle and then I slide my finger up and slide my finger down. And you know you've done it right because you have 4 squares in the middle here. And now I'm going to take the edge of the paper and line it up with that center crease. Start in the middle, slide my finger up and down. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I know I've done it right because I have 8 rectangles. Now I'm going to take my bottom edge, take it to the center. I'm going to take the top edge, take it to the center. And I know I've done it right because I now have 16 squares. Now, following the diagram, looking at step 3, I am going to make some cuts. And to get started, when you're first doing this, it might be helpful to use a pencil to follow the diagram and just draw the lines where you're going to be cutting. Once you get the hang of it, you don't need to draw the lines anymore. Next, I'm going to take some scissors and I'm going to cut on that line very, very carefully right up to the intersection and then stop. These are going to become the walls of the box after I do a few more things to them. Technically, because this is called Origami, this is called Origami because I'm doing a little bit of cutting. Next, I'm going to take this little section of 3 and I'm going to fold it in half. These are going to end up being the walls of the box, but first I need to fold them all in half lengthwise. You want to be sure that your corners are matched up right here and here along the edge, and then crease it. Again, I start in the middle and then I slide my fingers out. So now my paper looks like step 5. Next, I'm going to take this edge and I'm going to fold it so that this edge is right up against the center crease. I'm going to do that on all 4 sides. These are going to become the corners of the box. Now, last step is I'm going to take the edges, and this is going to become the wall. I have a big wall and a little wall. I'm going to take the little wall, I'm going to make it stand up, and then I'm going to take the next door neighbor wall, and I'm going to go up and over, and then pinch the outside corner. The little wall goes in, big wall up and over, and then pinch the outside corner. Little wall goes in, big wall goes up and over, pinch the outside corner. Little wall goes in, big wall goes over, and pinch the outside corner. And there we are. There's my box top. Now to make the box bottom, you have to do something to the paper to make everything fit. You have to make it a little bit smaller, about 1/4 of an inch. But it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a little sliver. So what I do is I just make a little line using a straight edge of a ruler on 2 adjoining sides. And then I just trim that little bit. And sometimes I hang on to these scraps. They are really good to make bows or ribbons or something like that. Feel free to use tape to connect those, or you can just recycle them. Okay, now I've got this piece of paper. It's slightly smaller. Same thing. I'm going to make sure that I've got my corners and my edges lined up as best I can. And then I'm going to fold it. Again, I know I've done it right because I've got the 4 squares. I'm going to fold it from the edge to the center. You make the bottom exactly the same as the top. It's just a slightly smaller piece of paper. Again, you know you've done it right when you open it back up and you have those 16 squares. And then you go ahead and cut. You may not need to draw the lines this time. You may already understand what to do. But draw the lines. They're not going to show anyway. They're going to be on the inside. So nobody's going to know if you drew the lines, except for you. And then I fold these edges over, crease it firmly. Fold these edges over, crease it real firmly. Make sure these edges are nice and flat. The sharper your creases, the better construction your box will be, the sturdier your box will be. These boxes are really fun to make. You can make them using all different kinds of paper, and we'll be exploring different kinds of paper that you can use. But you can be creative with paper at your own house. This is just printer paper that's been cut into a square. All right, so there's the box bottom. I'm going to go back and take that top that I just made, and I'm going to wiggle them together. And there you go. Voila, there's my finished box. Have fun making boxes and be creative with how many boxes you get to make and what you make them out of. Thanks. Bye.